Alabama's a really good football team, a physical team. I thought going into the game really good on defense, and they certainly are. Um, I don't know if Bryce Young got hurt or if Coach elected to go with Milroe, but if he did, I hope that he's fine. He's a really good player, strong competitor. Um, Way too many big plays for them. Not enough for us. Turnover battle was I think, about the same. But for whatever reason, we didn't start well, and then finally scored there right before the half. But we didn't start well. And part of that, I'm sure, is because of Alabama. But we have to do better. We have to play better, and we've got to regroup. And last year we lost 3 in a row and turned out and won 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last 6, whatever it might be. We got to find a way to turn it around. I know we've played 2 really good teams the last 2 weeks, but we've got to play better regardless of what the score is, what it becomes. We've got to play more consistent, tackle better, convert third downs, things of that nature on offense.
Yeah, Sam, Alabama, I think, was 9 of 14 on third downs. How big was that? And they hit a lot of big ones. And that 77-yard run by Milroe looked like you had them,
It was huge. I mean, they were down, I think, inside the 20 and 28-23 game. And he went 77. And then they scored a couple plays later and got it back up to a 12-point game. And we didn't answer on offense. And that was a big play. I was proud, I'm proud of the team for the way we came out and fought back into the game. I mean, we were in it. And but that play right there seemed to take a little bit of the wind out of our sails. And we couldn't convert the next time we had the ball. But that was a big play. And then, obviously Gibbs' run, and I don't think we touched him, so we got to get better. We've got to tackle better. We seem to say it every week, but we got to eat up space better. But on offense, we got to throw the ball better too. We're not. I mean, we're right now we're one dimensional, and we've got to be able to throw and catch and protect and all those things. And it's got to be better because we can't just turn around and hand the ball off and beat really good teams. We got to do better.
At one point, Alabama was 8 of 12 on third downs, finished 9 of 14. Just how big was that in the game?
Well, it's big. I mean, it's either they convert 9 and they stay on the field, or they convert half of them and they're off the field half the time. It's a huge deal, And when Bryce was in there, they were taking us to empty and kind of picking us apart. They running down the middle some post routes that. Basically we're wide open, that we've got to get better in coverage, and they were big, Bob.
Third down or third quarter improvement this week was an emphasis. What was the key to coming out strong like you did out of halftime?
I don't know. We emphasize so many things. Coach sets up here, and if it works, and says, well, I did this and I did that and I did. And we've been emphasizing tackling and covering and blocking and, stuff too. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But the third quarter, we just stayed in here and stretched. And I talked to them. The captains talked to them. It's the same thing that we did at practice. And we ran 20 and ran back. We just changed it up. We hadn't won a third quarter all year. And so we changed it up, and I don't know if it worked or not, or it was because we was down 21. I don't know, but I do know the kids answered the challenge, and that was good to see.
Part of that was the onside kick. Was that something you've had in your bag all season, or a look that you'd seen from Alabama? Or?
No, that's what we seeing it on tape. We felt like it was there, and Bates was really good at it. He had done it at his previous school, and it just seemed like the right time to use it, and it worked, and we went down and scored. So that was a good deal.
KJ got slammed down and
Yeah.
came out for a play and then went back. Can you update us on how he's doing, what you thought of the game?
I mean, he hit his head. I don't know. I don't know where he's at, to be honest with you. Obviously, we didn't bring him back in, so I don't know any more than that.
And what about the offensive plan? Because it seemed like you established the run a little bit. Can you maybe talk about what you wanted to do?
Well, I want to run some go balls long on them, and we tried that a little bit, but we tried it later than, but we always are going to try to establish a run to throw play action off of it, but we just we either weren't getting open or we weren't throwing it accurately, and came off the field. We couldn't stay on the field, and against Alabama, you're probably not going to be able to turn around and hand it 3 times in a row and get a first down all the time. So I was disappointed where I just didn't feel like we threw the ball and threw and caught it, protected. All those things go together well, got open, all those things just wasn't there.
Sam, just curious for your overall thoughts on the receivers today, and just do you feel like you still need that guy to maybe rise up to that alpha role in that room?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about today, I just said, we didn't throw and catch it very good, you play better defenses than others, and Alabama will be one of the best we played, best corners, cover corners, things of that nature. But I think we've got good receivers. I do. Obviously, Warren Thompson didn't play today. He was hurt. But I think we have good receivers. I think we got to go back to work and maybe do a little bit of something different in a quicker game. We did try to throw a stop and stuff a time or two, but maybe something a little quicker where we can take advantage of some slants and some things of that nature.
Coach, how deflating was it? It seems a couple of times, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18, where you got them in a position where you could probably do something defensively, and then they come up with the big play.
It's bad. I mean, you sit there and you think you're going to get off, and then they make a play. It's very deflating. But that's part of the game, all that. But it's happening too often to us. We got to figure out how to get off the field when we have advantage and with the sticks. And it's not that we're not working it. It's just we're not doing it. And part of that has to do with tightness of coverage. Part of it has to do with area in tackling. Tackling's still a problem for us that we've got to continue to improve on. But it's very deflating,
You mentioned Thompson's hurt. He did dress out. So, I mean, do you think it's not a serious deal? Do you have any idea on timeline for him?
I don't. We thought there was a chance that he could play. Slusher was the same way. We thought that he would be able to play, and he went out there a little bit, but his calf was all tight and all this kind of stuff. But Warren, he just hadn't hardly practiced well at all this week. So we just felt like we'd be better with Keytron and Matt and Jaden instead of chancing him out there, because he wasn't ready.
And also, when KJ went out, y'all went with Fortin. Could you talk about maybe that decision instead of Malik?
Well, that decision's been made for a while. So he's our number 2 quarterback. So we put him in there.
So, Sam, you guys made a great comeback, but Alabama, led the whole way, built a big lead, and they do that on a lot of people. That's kind of their MO. How tough is that when you fall behind Alabama, whether it's you guys or anybody else they're playing? How tough is it to play from behind?
Well, it's hard. We did it the whole game last year over there. It was maybe getting close, sort of like today, except we didn't. They didn't end up having the big big plays in the fourth quarter, well, we answered them for most part last year. But I don't know.
McKinstry broke a couple of punts. I know you. I don't know what was the plan. Did Max outkick the coverage a couple times?
No, a couple times we kicked out of the zone, and one time we had a gunner on the wrong side of the field, and we didn't have a boundary gunner, and ironically, he returned it to the field. So we had a guy over there, but we couldn't make the play. But I believe the boundary gunner probably would have been down there and had a fair catch, but we didn't have it. Went the wrong side.
The message to the team at halftime, because you just score, you're gonna get the ball. Did you feel like we can get back in this game? And you did.
Yeah, I felt like we'd get back in the game as long as we believe we could get back in the game. What happens is we've won a lot of games, 12 of our last, whatever it is. And I guess 12 of our last 18 or whatever. But what happens is you got to watch it, because we can't revert back to, when we was getting our butt kicked every week, and you got to watch it because it's hard. We've got to have leadership. That's what the halftime was about, the older guys that need to lead and talk, and I think the captains did a nice job at halftime of talking after I got through, but it was just I'll be honest with you, it was just a challenge to go play hard, and show our character, who we are, what got us here, go out there and play hard. And, we had to make adjustments as a coaching staff, but they had to go out there and play hard, and I thought they did.
The decision to try the onside kick there and the execution of it, can you comment on that?
Well, we was down 2 scores, and I just thought it's good timing. I thought it was there. We went in there and we were going to fake a field goal too. And I had called a fake down there when we kicked it to make it to 12, I believe is what it ended up getting to. I'd called a fake. That was a fake, and we called it off. And but I was planning on faking the field goal down there, 4th and 5. I like what we had planned, and as much as I like the onside, but the look wasn't there, so we just went ahead and kicked it.
Sam, I think it was 21-0, and they're knocking on the door again, 3rd and 7. They get a offensive pass interference. And, if you hadn't taken it, they would have had a chip shot field goal, but then you take it and they score a touchdown. Well, what do you remember about that? And is that just kind of pick your poison with those guys?
Were you over there with Nick? Was he gonna kick it, or was he gonna go for it
Well,
on 4th and 3?
I guess I just wonder what your thought process was on that. I was not over there by now.
Oh, okay, because it sounded like you might have been. It was 4th and less than 3, and I thought if we don't take it, that he was going to go for it, and we put him in 3rd and what was it, 13, 18, 3rd and 13. They scored on us. I don't know, Bob. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I thought that he was going to go for it on 4th and 3, and I thought Matt could hold him from less than 10 yards on 3rd down, and who knows, maybe get a turnover, whatever it may be. But I always discuss that with everybody. Say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and we all agreed that was the best thing to do. They just have us throw a tunnel screen for a touchdown the next play, I think.
Coach, earlier this week, you talked about trying to figure out who the number 2 running back was, pretty even with AJ Green, 5 carries, Dominion with 4. Did today's game help you kind of make that decision?
No. I don't think so. I think, I think Rocket's the guy, and then the other guys are, I don't know that any of them separated from the other guy. I think they're all good runners, but Jimmy may feel different, or I might after I watch the tape, but not right now. I don't think so.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.